using pretty shitty headphones right now, but that's perfect. Okay. Uh-huh. Fucking A. Yo, who all is here? I see there's one other person. What's up, man? Uh, just let me know. Who else is there? Okay, it's 12:55 p.m. Central Time. Uh, I would like to start in the next 5 minutes, 1 p.m. Central, but I don't mind waiting a little while longer just so um, we can wait for a few more people. Uh, it's Friday. Fridays are usually like my off days. I have all of Friday off. That's why I've decided to like do these streams this early on in the day. So yeah, I don't care waiting. I don't mind waiting. It's all good. Yeah. Okay, let's fuck around on Reddit for a while until we can get a couple of more people in. What the fuck, man? People are such weirdos, man. Dude, what is up with like fucking Republicans and just conservatives in general? Like, what is with their? I mean, it's a bit of a rhetorical question, but like their obsession with like AI generated art is it's very noteworthy, and like there's a good reason for it. It's because like conservatives are Philistines, right? Like they harbor such disdain for the arts and quote unquote intellectualism in general that AI art is perfect for them because all they have to do is really just prompt something to give them exactly what they want because they like just I mean, they're exclusively predisposed to consuming whatever it is that they like, as opposed to being presented with anything that, God forbid, challenge them in any capacity, right? But just besides that, which is sort of conceptually somewhat more philosophical in scope, right? Like the aesthetics of AI art are just so dog shit. Like, look at this. I mean, even just aesthetically. I mean, like, look at this quote unquote color grading, even if you want to call it that. Like, it's just so off, dude. The proportions are off. I mean, like Donald Trump's head is. It shouldn't be this small, given the frame that is supporting him and. Honestly, even like Obama looks fine over here, but like, what the fuck is happening here, dude? Jesus Christ, dude. Conservatives are honestly, they're like unicorns, like mystical creatures just beyond any understanding, truly. Yeah. Anyone knows I'm live as yet. I don't think people have seen my stories, so I might have to wait a little while longer. But then again, like I said, it's all good. Friday is my off day. I don't have anything else to do, and I don't mind waiting. It's not like uh, I even do anything at all in general. Like, I mean, I do. I mean, it's not like I'm bored or anything, but like, I don't. I rarely ever get out of the house now, uh, and my life is pretty much just on the internet now, which is damn. It's fucking depressing saying that out loud, but it's true, dude. I mean, I just hate people, dude. I mean, like, I just hate being around people now, dude. People are so fucking boring. At least where I live. I mean, like, no, people generally are cool. It's just where I live. People are just boring. Not bad. I mean, like, they're good. I mean, like, people are like. I mean, at least character-wise, they're like the same everywhere. I don't have any complaints in that department. But God, man, people. out where I live in fucking bumfuck West Texas, dude. People are like, ugh, yeah. Also, what the fuck, dude? I just noticed that like my what the hell, dude? No. I'm so sorry about that. Jesus, like I didn't even realize. Ugh. Anyway. Dim marshmallow. Ugh. Also, what the fuck, dude? I just noticed that like my what the hell? No. I'm so sorry about that. Jesus, like I didn't even realize. Ugh. Oh my god. Dude, did anyone watch the season finale for The Boys or just like the last season? God, it was honestly so awful. Like, what a letdown. I mean, it fell off well off. Like, it fell off like after the second season, but this season, the most recent one was so terrible, man. Like, the finale. Ugh. God, it was honestly so awful. Like, what a letdown. I mean, it fell off well. Like, it fell off like after the second season, but this season, the most recent one was so terrible. Like, the finale. Ooh, ooh, very nice. God, I love Iljarda so much. Dude, this looks maxing trend just needs to die. Okay, it needs to die out for the sake of humanity because the very fact that this is even a popular trend to begin with is indicative of just the downfall of humankind. Like this shouldn't be a thing. Okay, in any normal semblance of reality, like this maxing shit should just not exist at all. Like period. This shouldn't be a thing. Okay, in any normal semblance of reality, like this maxing shit should just not exist at all. Like period. Oh, that's good, man. That's good. And fuck Fender, dude. Honestly. All right. I'm gonna wait for another 10 minutes, and with or without an audience, I'm gonna do my thing. Ugh, Bill Maher. Ugh. Oh, dude, are you kidding me, man? There's another feedback issue? Really? Are you serious? Uh. Are you kidding me, man? There's another feedback issue? Really? Are you serious? Uh. Is it really bad? Like, how bad is it? Because I'm not hearing anything on my end. I mean, I have a separate laptop out just to monitor the stream, and the last time I did this, it was fine using this exact setup. Bad? Like, how bad is it? Because I'm not hearing anything on my end. I mean, I have a separate laptop out just to monitor the stream. The last time I did this, it was fine using this exact setup. Oh no, it's there. I hear it now. I hear it now. इसका कुछ हम करते हैं अभी. All right, how are we doing now? You know what? Let's खैर होगी कोई मसला नहीं है थोड़ी सी है इतना बड़ा मसला नहीं है इसके साथ काम हो जाएगा तो क्या कहते हो शुरू करें या नहीं खैर कोई मसला नहीं है, थोड़ी सी, इतना बड़ा मसला नहीं है। इसके साथ काम हो जाता है। तो क्या कहते हैं, शुरू करें या नहीं? अल्लाह का शुक्र है भाई। चलो, चाहे एक बंदा हो चाहे हजार बंदे हो, इजी सीन है, कोई फर्क नहीं पड़ता है। आई विल स्टिल impart whatever it is that I can with the same level of quality, no compromises, nothing. So there's only one of you. Thank you for tuning in. I appreciate it. Uh, let's do this, shall we? So, the agenda for today is really to do some drum mixing, right? Now, keep in mind, we're not going to be able to cover everything pertaining to sort of this topic in just one stream, right? We are only going to cover everything up until individual EQing on certain tracks and some bussing. Not all of it, but some of it, right? We'll pick up on everything else in streams to come in the future. So let's begin without further ado. So here's what we have, right? Let me show you what we're going to be working with. तो मैं आपको ये सुनाता हूँ सबसे पहले। So these are the guitar and bass stems from one of my tracks off my EP Revision. The track is called Colorblind, and this is the intro, really. And it's very, very techy, right? Very techy, very. It's very difficult to play. I mean, I haven't practiced this in such a long time. I think I've forgotten how to play it. And what we're going to be doing is we're going to be mixing drums for this part, right? Now let's hear what just the drums sound like. Right. Let's. These are raw drums, by the way, right? Let's hear what these raw drums sound like, right? It's not going to sound very good, but let's hear what they sound like with the guitars and the bass. It sounds like trash, okay? Like straight up. Like maybe not like trash, but like you can 100% tell that like this doesn't sound very good, right? And the reason for that is because we are using 100% raw samples, right? Now, in my previous stories, I mentioned that we'd be using a drum plugin called Steven Slate 5.5, right? Uh, Now it's a free plugin, and you can download this from Stephen Slate's website. Stephen Slate free, right? So just Google this and go here, and you should be able to find it. What the hell? Something wrong with this website? Product. Oh yeah, SSD 5.5 free, right? Try SSD 5.5 free right now, right? Get the fully functioning, never expiring SSD 5.5 demo with one incredible deluxe 2 kit, as well as blah 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 blah, right? So download it. I think it's about maybe 2 gigs in size. And once you do, and you open it up in your DAW, right? Again, as far as DAWs are concerned, I use Ableton. That's just a personal preference. It doesn't matter what you use. You can use Logic, you can use FL Studio, you can use Studio One, Cubase. It doesn't matter, right? But once you download it and you have it all loaded up, right? So I already have some tracks here. Let's start fresh. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a MIDI track. I'm going to go and load up an instance of Steven Slate right here, right? And so this drum track over here is the drum MIDI from the original song, right? I've made some modifications, and I will explain exactly what those are in just a brief while. Right, so let me just load this in, and let's load the MIDI in. And when you open the plugin for the first time, right, what you should find is absolutely nothing is loaded, right? So I've just soldered it out. I've just soloed this track out now, and I'm playing it, and you're not going to hear anything, right? And the reason for that is because you need to load something in, right? Now, go and click this create button, and you will see that there's an option for instrument and kits in this column over here. Go ahead and click kits. And so these are some of my presets that I've made over the time I've been using Steven Slate. Don't worry about those. Just go ahead and click SSD 5 Deluxe 2, and you will see that there are 3 included presets, and let's just give them a listen and see what they sound like. So double click, and look at that, something is loaded up. That's one preset. Another preset sounds like this. So there's going to be a bit of clipping on my end because I need to drastically lower this. All right, let's bring it down to minus 6 decibels. And so these are just some of the included kits, right, that come with the plugin right off the bat, right? And they honestly don't sound too bad, in my opinion, right? So here's what we're going to do. Let's load up this kit over here, right? And again, as I mentioned in my story earlier, I'm going to assume no prior knowledge or understanding of drums in general, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to first begin by reviewing what all of this stuff is over here, right? So let's start with the most obvious, right? The kick the snare and the hi-hat, right? So your kick drum is obviously sounds like this, right? Needs no further explanation. Your snare drum sounds like this. That's a closed hi-hat. That's an open hi-hat. That's a splash cymbal. That's your left crash cymbal. That's your right crash cymbal. That's your right cymbal. This is one tom, right? That's a rack tom, the leftmost rack tom. That's another rack tom. In the stereo field, this is panned further, a little further to the right than this one. But the important part is to notice the difference in pitch between them, right? This one is typically the leftmost toms tend to be tuned higher than the rightmost ones, right? Conventionally, that's not always the case, but conventionally that is how it is, right? So rack toms, that's one floor tom, and in the stereo field, you'll notice that like it is panned further to the right, and then that's your second floor tom, right? Pitch wise, this is tuned to the lowest, and this is a little higher, right? So now let's talk about all of these pieces for a second, right? So we all know what a kick drum is for, right? We all know what a snare drum is for. Hi-hat is all too familiar. Crash cymbals require, or in my opinion, I think crash cymbals deserve a bit more. They deserve a bit more discussion, right? So crash cymbals can be used for various purposes, right? So crash cymbals can be used on, say, downbeats to sort of indicate the start of a measure, or they can be used for embellishments, or crash cymbals can also be used for sort of ambience, or they can be used as sort of these tools to sort of yeah. I didn't do a very good job there, right? But you know, you have ears, so you know what they sound like, right? Right cymbal. What is a right cymbal used for? Typically, right cymbals are, in a sense, at least in my opinion, somewhat antithetical to crash cymbals because right cymbals are not necessarily used for ambience. Right cymbals are used as these means of articulation, really, more than anything, right? Right cymbals are used for parts where you might need to sort of articulate things in a certain way, right? Because unlike crash cymbals, which are very ambient, right cymbals actually have attack, right? Right cymbals actually have much more pronounced transients, right? So they can be used to do various things, right? Now, I didn't talk about splash, and I didn't talk about China. Splash cymbals are really more often than not used for embellishments, and Chinas, well, if you're a metalhead, right, you know what a China is and you know what a China sounds like, right? Chinas sound great for breakdowns. Chinas sound great for parts where you really, really want to emphasize aggressiveness, so to speak, right? So, yeah. Now, regardless of whatever you plugin you used, paid or free, right? Fundamentally, pretty much any kit you're going to use will resemble this setup over here, right? Kick, snare, hi-hat, at least two crashes, at least one ride, at least one China. Generally speaking, most plugins will have about 3 toms, but this one has 4, which is super sweet. Some plugins have like 6 toms. Like I've seen some EZdrummer add-ons that have like 6, 7 toms, and one kick drum, two kick drum. I mean, it depends on the plugin. It doesn't matter. One kick drum is usually good enough, and you usually have one snare. Sometimes you might have two, right? The difference might be just one tune might be tuned a little lower, and another might be tuned a little higher. Like a side snare typically is tuned a little higher, right? But it doesn't matter, right? Um, this particular plugin, SSD 5.5, is kind of a godsend, especially for a free plugin. To this day, I have never ever encountered a free plugin with this much functionality and also this level of quality. So if you're on a budget, right, I could not recommend Steven Slate free more than enough, right? I mean, it doesn't get better than this. There are other free options as well, but my recommendation is SSD 5.5 free, use it, right? And I myself, like in my own work or whatever I do, I don't use SSD 5.5. I have separate libraries that I use, paid ones. But I have made a bunch of demos with this particular one, and they don't sound bad at all. And yeah, for a free plugin, I have zero complaints, literally. Yeah, no, for sure, man. I mean, it is the goat. Like, yeah, no, definitely, it's really good. Oh, hi, Emmett. How are you? It's really, really good to have you here, man. Nice to see you. And yeah, yeah. Thanks for tuning in. And let's mix some drums, man. Okay, so we spent a bit of time talking about just the kit pieces over here, right? Now let's see what else this plugin has to offer. So let's go to this mix tab over here for a second and let's see what we have. Before we proceed, I'm going to make one small modification, right? So this snare drum over here, right? What I'm going to do is, so first of all, just to recap, I'm using this preset over here, the second one. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to right click and I'm going to remove it. And I'm going to go back to this column over here and go and I'm going to search for this one. And I'm just going to click it and I'm going to drag it onto this snare here, right? So this snare, in my opinion, I'm not saying it sounds better than this one. It's just for this particular style of music that we're going to be working on for the purpose of this instruction, it's just better suited, right? Because it's a little lower tuned and, for progressive metal or like, gent or whatever, this is a more appropriate choice in my opinion, right? Now let's go back to mix. Let's just see what we're working with right now in this mixer tab over here, right? Let's see. So we have, so we have kick in, kick out. Let's solo these out for a second and let's just hear what all of this kick business sounds like. Okay, what does the kick in by itself sound like? Okay, so if you're wearing headphones right now, or if you're plugged into like a sound system with decent enough bass, right? What you should be able to hear is really just the attack of the kick, right? Just, yeah, the very clicky transients. Now, let's solo this kick out for a second. Yeah, so this is really the rumbly, bassy part of it, right? And together, So these two tracks over here, kick in and kick out, are these two sort of tracks or channels over here, whatever you want to call them, represent all of our kick stuff, right? Now, let's look at this snare channel over here, snare dir, right? Snare direct, right? Let's hear what this sounds like. Okay, so that's our snare drum right there, right? By the way, um, you should know that generally speaking, right? If you're working with, generally speaking, um, if you're working with a snare drum, right, you're going to have at least two other, or at least one other channel for the snare, right? There's a snare top and then there's a snare bottom as well, right? I'm not going to talk about that right now, right? Not for the purpose of this instruction because that's a little more complicated. And yeah, we're just going to concern ourselves with one snare channel, right? So, oh, you're a big fan of Terraform? Thank you so much, dude. I mean, like, um, float leaf music, right? Are you a musician as well, by the way? Because if you are, this is the right place for you. Especially if you're a beginner, which I'm going to assume you are. Because I have so much to teach you that you probably don't know already. You're in the right place over here. In fact, let me send you my PayPal, so I can give you some private instruction, So, yeah. So, float leaf music. I'm glad you're here, man. Yeah. Give me one sec, guys. I'll just be back. Yeah, so, anyway. Where were we? Right. So, for now, we're just going to concern ourselves with one snare channel, right? So let's see what else we have. Um, so there's some hi-hats as well. Cool. So there's a separate mic for hi-hats. And now let's look at these toms over here, right? So let's hear what these toms sound like, actually. I'm gonna solo out all of these toms. Hang on, that doesn't sound quite right. Actually, no, that does sound right. So let's solo these toms out. No, something is off. Something is off. Something is off. Sounds very fishy. Try putting on AmSim on the master channel. Okay, yeah, actually, float leaf music. Only because you say so. Let's actually try it out. I'm gonna throw on only because float leaf said so. By the way, I don't know float leaf at all. Like he's a rando for all intents and purposes, but I don't know. I just have this feeling he knows what he's talking about. So let's throw on an instance of just for float leaf, really. Let's throw on an instance of archetype Nolly on the master channel, right? And by the way, if anybody is, I'm sure some of you must be wondering that I must be stupid and wasting time for doing this. Don't say that. Don't be condescending. Okay, I mean, I'm going to assume float leaf music over here is just try. Yeah, push the genre forward. I think he has the right idea. Yeah, so let's go and try out a preset. In fact, let's use one of my presets. Let's use my Paul preset on the master channel. Let's just see what it sounds like, actually. Yeah, let's just see what it sounds like. Float leaf music, not bad, honestly speaking. The only issue that I take with your suggestion is that we're getting about this much gain reduction on our limiter. I typically like to have gain reduction at about, I don't like it to exceed -1, but good suggestion, good suggestion. We can definitely, I'm definitely going to try this out for another project of mine in mind. But I appreciate it nonetheless. That was it was good thinking on your part. But thank you for that. I really do appreciate it. Yeah, yeah. Anyway, anyway. So let's get back to sort of where we were. Okay, it's dude, that's kind of creepy, man. I mean, that's a little parasocial. Like you don't know me, and I don't know you like that. So, but thanks, I guess. Float leaf. Yeah. Anyway. Yeah, yeah. So anyway, where were we? Where were we? Um, uh, there was more business happening with these Stoms over here. I feel like I might have. Anyway, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter because like this track doesn't even have a whole lot of toms to begin with. But uh, oh, I see what happened. I see what happened. Sorry, sorry. My bad, guys. My bad. My bad. I'm so so sorry. Check this out now. Yeah. So hear this. All right. So notice that there is some dom business happening over here, right? So that's all of our doms. Now, what else do we have? We have hi-hat. I think we just talked about hi-hat. And there's also a ride, by the way. So let's hear what this ride part is about. What the hell? Oh, yeah. Okay. It doesn't sound very loud right now, right? It doesn't sound very pronounced, and there's a good reason for this, and I'll come to it in a very, very brief second, right? But that's one channel for the ride, right? So we've covered just about everything, and the reason why, again, just to reiterate, the reason why I've muted this Dom 10 or Dom 10 over here is because, like, um, um, I've actually removed this, right? Because I'm not even using it, right? I personally prefer 3 DOMs in my setup, right? 1 rack DOM and 2 floor DOMs, but that's just a personal preference, right? So, yeah. So far, so good, I'm hoping. Let's see what else we have. Okay, so we have this OH, we have this room, we have room B and SLR. Let's hear what these sound like. Okay, at least to my ears, it sounds like there's a lot of cymbal content in this overhead channel, right? And that's not a coincidence, right? Because realistically speaking, when you're miking up drums, right, you have at least 2 microphones that are placed a few feet away, and a few feet high, right, just over the drum set. And their purpose is actually to capture symbol dynamics and, like I said, and like the term I used earlier, symbol content, right? You will hear some kick information, and it's mostly symbols and, like, just like the high end trebly portions of, like, the kick, right? But the purpose of the overheads is really for symbols, right? Now, let's go ahead and listen to this room over here. What does that sound like? Ooh, okay. So this room channel over here actually sounds very reverbish. It sounds very ambient. It sounds like it's picking up all of my kit dynamics, but from a considerable distance and in a large room almost, right? Well, that's what the room mics are for. The room mics are there to capture the ambience, right? So, yeah. So, as of this point, we've talked about everything up until here, right? Now, there's also a room B channel over here, right? Which is the second set of room microphones. We're not going to use this, right? I mean, for all practical intents and purposes, one room mic is usually sufficient, right? Having two room mics is cool as well. I mean, as an option, like it's cool, but we're not going to use it, right? So let's forget it even exists. We're just going to mute it out, right? As for this SLR, I still haven't exactly figured out what it is, but it seems receptive only to sort of kick drum transients in, like, the upper frequency portion or the upper frequency spectrum, right? And I personally don't see much of a use for it, so we're going to mute that out as well, right? So let's see what we have so far. We have kick in, kick out, snare direct, our toms. We're not using one tom, so we only have three toms. We have a hi hat, we have a ride, we have overheads, and we have a room, right? Okay, cool. Now, let's get straight to it, shall we? Now, here's what we're going to do. And this is really where the business starts. Kind of missing a stack. All jokes aside, the Steven Slade free library doesn't even have a stack. And that's really the only reason why I don't use it for, like, my own productions. Like, the GG, like, the Get Good Drums libraries are good. Like, Superior Drummer is good. All of that shit is good. But, like, they also don't have a whole lot of stacks, that? And there aren't a whole lot of libraries with good stacks. And frankly speaking, I just want one drum library with stacks and stacks alone, right? Once somebody makes that, that's all I'm going to use, And but, like, no, good observation. So Mustafa Khan, whatever. Good observation on your part. I'm going to assume that, like, you're also new to this and trying to learn stuff. But the fact that you even know what a stack is it's auspicious. It's a good sign. It means you're enthusiastic and you're trying to learn. And I don't think you could be in a better place because nobody is more qualified to do this than me. And it's probably in your best interest to just shut the fuck up and, like, just take everything that I say at face value. So yeah, no, fantastic. Nice to have you here, man. Anyway, all right. So, where were we again? Yes. Now we are at the part where we need to start routing. Every single thing shown here do their own individual tracks in our DAW, right? Now, I'll say this again. I use Ableton. This will work in any DAW. This will work in any DAW. So, yes, oh, Captain, my Captain. Dude, what the fuck, man? Like, Floatleaf is getting all parasocial. Now you're getting all parasocial, dude. Like, chill out, man. Dude, like, this is serious business, okay? Like, I'm trying to impart some real knowledge to you people, and you're trivializing this, and that really, really hurts my feelings, you know? Please be serious, okay? This is serious. Anyway, so let's start making tracks for everything, right? So we have actually let's make a different. Let's assign a different color, right? So we're gonna make one track for our kick. We're gonna make one track for our snare. We're gonna make one track for hi-hats. We're gonna make another one for ride. God, dude, you people are truly awful. Like, awful. Okay, hi-hats, ride. Let's make one for toms, right? Just a single one for toms. I'll get back to that in just a second. One for overheads, and we're gonna make one for room, right? Okay, now let's start routing everything. So kick in and kick out, as you might recall. Kick in was just sort of the trebly transient, and kick out was the sub content. So we're gonna have both of these routed to just one track, and as you might have guessed, that one track is just the kick. So let's rename this. Let's call this drums nerve. Yeah, drums nerve is good. Yeah. So drums nerve, yeah. So yeah. So yeah. Output 2, right? So pay attention. This will differ from DAW to DAW, but in Ableton, if you want to sort of do this kind of routing with MIDI, you're going to, in this first tab over here, you're going to select the respective MIDI track. And then in the second tab over here, you're going to select your stereo output, right? And I am sending within SSD output 2 to just kick, right? So both of these channels are going to go to one track over here, right? And we're going to rinse and repeat for pretty much everything else, right? So snare is going to go to output 3 because it needs its own dedicated channel. So drums nerve. Make sure to set this to in if you're in Ableton, right? 2 more beers needed for correct routing. I don't drink, man. What are you talking about, bro? God, you're so unserious, both of you. Seriously, dude. Like, so unserious. What have you been doing here? Yeah. So, again, let's make sure everything sounds right. So let's solo out this kick. That sounds about right. Let's solo out snare. That sounds about right. Yeah. Okay. Hi-hats, let's go and यार तुम लोग क्या कर रहे हो यार अगर तुम लोग शुरू करोगे एक स्ट्रीम फिर सब चले जाएंगे ब्रो सब मुझे मिस कराएंगे यार ना करो ब्रो इतनी छोटी ख्वाहिश है मेरी जिंदगी में ब्रो मतलब आई कांट compete with you guys man क्या कर रहे हो तुम ब्रो anyway Hi-hats, again, we're going to route hi-hats to output 4. Yeah, select output 4, set this to in. Let's make sure this sounds okay as well, wherever their hi-hat hits. Great, that sounds good. Let's get our ride in order as well. So ride should go to output, ride can go to output 4. That's good enough. Okay, that sounds good. That sounds pretty good. That sounds pretty good. Hi-hats are taken care of, rides are taken care of. We haven't dealt with the toms as of yet, right? So let's go ahead and fix that, right? Okay. So what I'm about to do right now is I don't recommend this, right? Especially for practical intents and purposes. What you should do for each and every individual DOM is route them to their own individual tracks. But I'm gonna, because I'm a little lazy, I'm gonna route all of my toms to just one single track, right? And that is just the toms track over here, right? So we're gonna set this to this, and we're gonna set this to output 5, and we're gonna go back to Stephen Slate, and I'm going to route this to output 5. I'm going to route this to output 5, and I'm going to route this to output 5, and let's make sure it sounds right. All jokes aside, do I even have any tabla samples? Oh shit, there is tabla actually. Oh, fuck yeah, dude. Fuck yeah, that's fire, dude. No, float leaf music. For I'm going to assume you're just a novice. Dude, like, you have incredible intuition for this. Like, what does this sound like? No, hang on. Yeah, what does this sound like? With the rest of the track. Dude, that's fire. Hang on. I need to hear what this sounds like. With the rest of the track. That's cool. Yeah, let's turn this out. The fuck? Dude, huh? Yeah. Not bad. Yeah. Yeah, let's hear what this sounds like, actually. Oh, you said OTT, right? You said OTT, right? So let's actually hear what OTT sounds like on this. No, actually, if you're gonna use OTT, you need to use at least these many, right? So I have about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah. What does it sound like? Excellent, dude. Like, you have a real ear for this. Like, I just want you to know you have a real ear for this shit, dude. Like, very good. What I'm gonna do, I'm not even gonna delete this, right? I'm just gonna freeze this, and I'm just gonna freeze this and just disable it for now. This is the only way to stand out. Shamsher, that's a bit. Wait, is that your real name, Shamsher? Sorry, float leaf. My bad. That's a bit cynical. I don't think it's the only way to stand out, but I see where you're coming from. But I understand where you're coming from is really rooted in like a sense of cynicism and just like a sense of just jadedness. But no, there are better ways, and by the end of this, I hope to show you that, like, we can stand out using yeah, yeah, using these techniques that I will hopefully show you. Yeah, yeah. Anyway, um, let's see where we're at right now. Oh, whoops. I need to set this to drums nerve, post mixer. The overheads need to be okay. Whoops, I didn't route the overheads out. So we need to give the overheads their own channel, and we need to give the room its own channel as well. So room goes to 7. And as I mentioned earlier, we're not going to use Room B and we're not going to use SLR. So let's hear what this sounds like. Okay, all of it is clipping like crazy right now, but that's okay for now because we're going to fix all of that, right? That is like one of the reasons why we're doing this stream, to get everything to sound the way it should, right? So again, let's hear what all of this sounds like. Okay, not bad. Not be bad. Will be here every stream. I'm a fan. I'm glad to hear that, man. I mean, I really appreciate it. I mean, no, definitely, definitely, dude. I mean, like that the kind of enthusiasm that Floatleaf has shown so far is something I really appreciate because this idea that you had for the tabla and the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7 or so instances of OTT was a really good one. It just it was just an unfortunate coincidence that it didn't work well in the context of this mix, but I can assure you that it would have worked in just about any other context, right? Um, there's another guy, Mustafa Khan, whatever. I don't know who this Mustafa Khan. I don't know who you think you are, but like, I think it might be in your best interest to maybe swallow your pride for a second and try and learn. Like I'm sure you're a great guy and everything, but I don't know who you think you are. No offense, and I hope you don't take it like that. I don't mean it at all. I'm sure you're a swell guy, but you're tuned in here. Let me show you how it's done. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Right. So with just about all of our routing completed, right? Let's actually to get to the important stuff now, right? So yeah. Whoops, I forgot to group these into a single track. So let's call this drums, right? Drums, whatever. And I'm going to give this a different color. I'm gonna use whatever. It doesn't matter, right? But the point is, everything is grouped to a single bus right now. Okay, so before we proceed, let's go back to Stephen Slade and make sure all of our levels sound reasonable. Actually, let's bring this down to minus. No, dude. Oh, come on, man. Come on, dude. Like, bro. It is an inside joke. It is an inside joke. I mean, like, we're all very good friends. Me, Mustafa, and Shamshir. You don't have to leave. I mean, like, no, seriously, like, I'll knock it off. Like, I will knock it off. I'm sorry about that. Like, I didn't mean to make you feel excluded or anything. Um, yeah, I'm really sorry about that. No, we can get back to it. Like, yeah, yeah. Yeah, no. So there's a bit of flipping happening with this over here. Okay. Now these it doesn't sound like it's flipping as much. Uh let's let's do this. So these levels are okay for now, right? We're going to go back and make some adjustments, right? This is a very non-linear process, right? Because changes made to one set of tracks will inform how the other ones will sound, right? So it's going to keep looping back and forth, right? It's very non-linear. So let's get to it, right? So here is the idea. And here's what I'm going to recommend to everybody. So this is a fantastic cheat sheet that I was able to find somewhere on YouTube. And I can post it on my Instagram later. And here it is. So this is an excellent starting point for mixing in general, or mixing drums in general, right? It tells you where to make EQ cuts and where to make EQ boosts and how to compress, right? Now, don't take any of this literally, right? My suggestion is just to use all of this as starting points, right? So let's go ahead and actually start doing this, right? So EQ cuts and EQ boosts. Let's start with the kick, right? So it's telling us to make EQ cuts at about 150 to 350 and 700 to 900, right? So let's go ahead and implement that, right? So EQ8, oops, my bad. EQ8, let's do this. So it's set between 150 and 300, right? So let's solo out this kick. So between 150 and 300, right? So between 150 and 300, that means the center of this notch should be about 225-ish, right? If my math is correct. It could be wrong. But is it 225? Ah, should be okay. But the point is, right? Let's pull up that cheat sheet again for mud, right? So as to what mud literally means, it's subjective. I mean, admittedly, it is pretty subjective, right? And you're just gonna have to use your ears, and it will differ from producer to producer, ear to ear, but just use your ears, right? So what I'm doing is I pulled up an Ableton EQ8 and I'm just soloing out some frequencies, right? So let me just make sure I have sort of this region for a second. Guys, come on, dude. Like I'm actually trying to do something, man. Like and bring back the tabla. You know the worst part in all of this is I feel like if I were to like resample this and like chop it up, I could do some pretty cool electronic shit with this. That is the worst part in all of this. And I hate you guys so much for fact what I'm gonna do right now is actually just bounce this region out because I feel like I could use this for something in the future. Tabla resample later. I hate you guys so much. Yeah. Anyway. Uh, yeah. But anyway, let's get back to business, right? So let's loop this region over here. Okay, so I'm hearing a lot of mud in this region over here. Now, even though the cheat sheet said between 150 and 300, right? Keep in mind nothing is really set in stone, right? They're just guidelines, right? Don't take them literally. Just use them as starting points. Okay, I'm gonna cut this out. I feel like this is a good chunk to cut out. What else is it saying? It's saying what else? What else do I need to cut out? 700 and 900 for boxy or basketball sound. Okay, let's see. 700 and 900. So okay, that sounds like that sounds really boxy. Let's cut this out for sure. Okay. Now what else? What else do we have? Okay. Now it's telling us to do an EQ boost, right? At this point, what I could do is I could make all of the recommended EQ boosts within a single instance of this parametric EQ. But I'm not going to do that. What I prefer to do, one thing I've recently sort of learned with experience, is to make whatever cuts that you need to make. Let's make one more. Let's roll off everything under 30 hertz, right? Is to actually compress after making your cuts. I'm going to aim for about 4-ish decibels of gain reduction, right? 4-ish decibels is good, right? Make sure to always compensate for however much reduction you have, right? What else is it telling me to do? Slow attack, slow attack, fast release for the kick, right? There's a good reason. There's a good reason for why you need to do a slow attack and a fast release, right? If your attack is too short, right, you're going to end up snuffing out the transients, right? You're going to end up snuffing out the sort of the hit, right? The initial hit of the attack. Like, listen to this and compare it to this. Now, these are two extreme cases, right? 0.01 milliseconds, 1 second, right? These are very extreme cases, but notice the difference, right? The higher it is, the more pronounced the attack is. The lower it is, the initial kind of the hit is just gone, right? So we need to strike a balance of sorts, right? So let's go ahead and do that. Okay, I feel like this is where the transient is lost. Okay, that doesn't sound too bad. Now, what is it saying for, okay, fast release, right? So fast release would typically mean between about that's pretty good. That's pretty good. Let's play around with the threshold a bit more just to make sure we're not exceeding 4 decibels of gain reduction. That sounds pretty okay for now, right? Now that we've done our compression, let's now start making those boosts, right? Pull up another EQ, and where are we told to make those boosts? Between 50 and 70 hertz for low end. 2.5, okay. 2.5 to 4.5 for slap, 8K for click and attack. Let's get to it, right? So 50 to 70 hertz for low end, right? So where is that? Okay. So 50 to 70 hertz, right? So, yeah. 50 to 70, so let's have this peak at about 60-ish, about 50. Yeah. That's actually on point. That's on point, right? Because, like, again, you can only hear this if you're wearing headphones or you're hooked up to like a decent enough sound system, but you can kind of hear the subbiness, right? Or like the good subbiness here in this region, right? We're gonna give it a generous 4 decibel boost. Now, this could be excessive, but let's use this as a starting point, right? So let's do that. And what else do we have? 2.5 to 4.5 for slap. Okay. So what exactly is this slap? Let's listen to it. So 2.5 to 4.5, right? Oh yeah, there it is. There it is. There it is. Yeah. You can hear it. You can hear it, right? The slap is like kind of the upper mid range where the kick starts to kind of cut through, in a sense. I think it'll become more apparent once we actually hear this in a mix, but this will give it a bit of upper mid range beef, if that makes sense, right? So what else do we have? 8 kilohertz for click and attack, right? Okay, so I'm going to do something a little slightly, it could be construed as something, it could be construed for being controversial, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to high pass everything past 8 kilohertz to really get some click up. Let's sharpen this a bit and give it cool. So let's A/B everything we have so far, right? So this is before. And this is after. Oh shit! Like all jokes aside, like this is already sounding. There's a hell of a lot more clarity, like already. Yeah, no, that's really good. One more thing. One more thing we're gonna do is we're gonna throw on an instance of saturation, right? And the reason for saturation is to enhance the harmonic content of it, right? Because saturation is fundamentally it's like distortion. I mean technically distortion is a subset of saturation. Distortion is just a more exaggerated case of it, right? But with saturation, right, we will be able to bring out a bit more. It'll allow for us to add a bit more grit, right? So let's start playing around with it. Now, if you use Ableton, Ableton stock saturation plugin it's pretty decent. It's not the best, but it's pretty decent, and it also gives you a bunch of saturation models, right? I personally really like the Sinoid, so let's hear what this sounds like. All right, not bad, not bad. Let's make sure to compensate for drive, right? So 5.7 decibels of drive and negative 5.7 decibels for output. And let's hear what this sounds like. So before and after. Oh, hell yeah. Not bad, not bad. I would just turn the release time down a little bit because I don't want that much transient bleeding through. Not bad, not bad. So what does it sound like in context? Like I'm just I let's just see what it sounds like. So this is what it sounds like without. And with. Okay, that's a fucking fat ass kick. That is a fat ass kick. We just need to bring the volume down a little bit. All right. Not bad. For now, not bad at all. Good starting point. Good starting point. We will definitely have to come back to it at some point. Invariably, that's just how the process works. But pretty good for now, right? The last thing we're gonna do for today's stream is the snare. Right now, the snare is arguably one of the hardest things to do, at least in my opinion. But let me demystify it, right? So let's get to the snare. So, what do? Again, we rinse and repeat the same process, right? We're going to start by making the respective or the relevant cuts. 500 to 700 hertz for boxiness. Let's do that. So let's pull up an instance of EQ8 for that, and let's get rid of the boxiness, right? Okay, to my ears, right, or at least my ears are telling me that the boxiness is actually within this region over here, and not necessarily, the prescribed 500 to 7 hertz, 500 to 700 hertz. It will vary from sample library to sample library, right? You need to use your ears for this, right? So I'm picking up boxiness in this region. In fact, I don't even mind widening this cut. I'll widen it and perhaps reduce the magnitude. Definitely making a cut here. And you know what? You know what? It doesn't matter. I don't care. I don't mind making another cut in that 500 to 700 hertz region. I'll do it just for the sake of it. But I'm going to make a very, very gentle and very surgical cut within that region. I'm going to max out this skew over here. Right? So 600 is extremely gentle, in fact. Cool. So we made a cut here. Now what do we need to do? Again, make a cut and then do compression, right? So slow attack, fast release, right? Let's see what we can do. Compressor. Oops, I didn't want to do that. My bad. Compressor. Hang on. Let's start doing it. Now, with a snare drum, I typically like to aim for not more than 3 decibels of gain reduction, right? That's a personal preference, but this is what works for me. Let's start by minus 28. That will give us about 3 decibels gain reduction. As for attack, we need a slow attack because the slower your attack, the more pronounced the initial transient, and you want that for a snare, right? Because you want that snare to really hit or really crack, if that makes sense. So let's bring this up. That sounds good. And as for the release time, excellent. Okay. Again, just using my ears to get it right down to taste. Just using my ears. Nothing scientific. I'm gonna do 3.2. Just cause. Not bad. Not bad. Now, what are the adds that we need to do for the snare? 200 for low end, 2.5 for mid range, and 8 kilohertz for crack and snap. Let's get to it. So let's start with the low end. Now, for metal drums, man, you really want that low end, right? Because you want your snare to fucking boom. You know what I'm saying, man? You want it to fucking, like, you want it to go oomph. You know what I'm saying, man? You know what I'm saying? So let's find that oomph region for that snare. Oh, okay. So the fundamental is about there. That's exactly where I want it. I'm going to tighten it up just a little bit. Just a little bit. And I'm going to give it a very aggressive boost. Very aggressive boost. 5 decibels. Might as well broaden it up a bit just so it's not too ringy or too resonant. Whoa. Great. That sounds good for now. What else do we have? We need to do a 2.5 kilohertz for mid-range attack. Okay, this is a very important frequency for the snare. what the 1.3 to 1.8 ish is for the guitar, the 2.5 ish is for the snare, right? So we absolutely need to boost that. Absolutely need to boost that. So let's get to it. So about 2.5 ish, right? So oops. I'm liking 2.7 a little better, right? We're gonna broaden this a bit, and we're gonna bring the gain down to about 3 decibels, right? Sounds good. Sounds good. I'm also gonna widen this a bit more because maybe just a little more, just because why not, right? Uh, 8K for crack and snap. And for this 8K, what I'm going to do is the exact same thing I did for the kick. I'm going to high shelf it, right? And the reason why that's acceptable, or at least in my opinion, is because typically kick and snare hits don't coincide, which is to say that, like, generally speaking, you are not going to play a kick and a snare together. So there's little to no chance for interference, right? That isn't always the case. There are parts or beats where, like, you will play a kick and a snare together, but in this case, that is not the case. So we're going to give a nice little high shelf at let's find it. Okay. I think 7.3-ish is good for now. Excellent. And rinse and repeat, we're going to throw on some saturation as well, because saturation adds depth, right? So let's see what we can get away with. Okay, now it's distorting. Yeah, let's do 10 decibels and let's compensate. Let's group everything together. Now let's actually do 12. And yeah, let's group this and let's throw on utility. Let's hear what this sounds like. Just the kick and the snare. Let's hear what this sounds like. Not bad at all so far, right? Not bad at all so far, right? I mean, like, let's A/B this again, right? Just a little section of this, right? We're going to turn off whatever processing we had for the kick and the snare. Now let's listen to it with the processing that we just developed. It's already starting to sound much better. It's already starting to sound much better, right? And for now, I think we've done quite a bit, because let's review everything we've done. We just went over sort of the Steven Slate free drum plugin. We talked about the samples that are available within it. We talked about routing. We talked about, the individual kit pieces, and we've already developed a means of processing just the kick and snare for now, which is a good chunk of it, right? It's not all of it. In fact, we have a long way to go because we still have to do the hi hats, we have to do the ride, the toms, and the overheads, and the notorious room bus, right? Um, let's pick up next week. Until then, I will post a reel in just a little minute, in just a little while, where I will specifically just talk about kick and snare processing, right? I'm not gonna go over the. I'm not gonna include any Steven Slade related stuff because I'd like to keep this plugin agnostic for the most part. And yeah, I'll do it in just a little bit. And again, for those of you who were here and might have left, I apologize for my behavior earlier on. I had a couple of guys in the stream. They're good friends of mine, and our relationship is such where, like, we shit post all the fucking time, and it's very difficult for us to like resist the urge. And like, I'm just saying that, like, if they were doing exactly what I was doing, I would have done the exact same thing to them, and they would have followed suit. And I'm sorry. In the future, I will keep it more professional, and I will tell these motherfuckers to tone it down. But for now, thanks for tuning in. Thanks for tuning in. We've already covered quite a bit, and we'll pick up next time. Yeah. Wherever you are in the world, I hope you guys are doing well. Have a wonderful day if it's daytime for you, and good night to you if it's late at night. Yeah. See you guys. Bye. Ah, Mustafa told you to do it. What the fuck? What the fuck, dude? The mind games. Oh, dude. I love it. I love it so fucking much, bro. I love it, man. Oh, dude. Okay, I feel somewhat relieved because I did genuinely feel bad. I was like, oh fuck, I feel like we're excluding somebody with all of our inside jokes, but perfect, perfect. But anyway, I'm done for now. And yeah, yeah. I hope you found this useful and take it easy, guys. Yeah, bye.